All right, let's go back to my main man with the plan. Bogota's finest. There he is, Danny.
Great interview with Adesanya, man.
I appreciate that. Well, it's all him,
best.
really. If you're just an interesting person, I don't have to do much. Did the Monday Morning Analyst make sense?
It did, a lot. And no technical difficulties, man.
I know. Can you believe it?
Yes.
For the first time, all I had to do was
I feel like something bad is going to come from it. Like, okay, if this doesn't mess up, you're either going to miss your train leaving this or something.
Yeah.
Something's going to
go on. I interviewed Derek Lewis last week. He's like, I don't like good things because all it tells me is that bad things are around the corner.
Yo, watch out, man.
You're right. All right, but you know what? I'll take what I can get. Let's do it. Yeah. Okay, first call. Set it up, my friend.
Okay, let's do it. Let's just get the whole Mayweather stuff out of the way.
Let's do it.
Let's just do it.
Hey Luke, it's Cottle from Ireland here. I'm just wondering, what's the logic behind Floyd Mayweather fighting in Rizin? It's on Fight TV, it's the same price as usual. The ticket prices haven't gone up at all. The arena is pretty much sold out for the most part. Like, what's the financial logic? I know it's great exposure in media, but what's the end-all be-all for Floyd to take the risk and take this fight? Thank you.
Well, risk is a strong word here. I am absolutely convinced there's going to be no risk, Danny. They're going to have a rule set that very much appeals to him. The fact that they didn't have a rule set announced automatically tells you he's going to use his leverage to get them to change it late. Whether it's an exhibition or not, I don't know. What weight, I don't know. By the way, Tenshin Nasukawa fights with the 120s. Floyd hasn't fought that much, that weight since, 2005 or something? So he has a size advantage for the first time ever. He's got a lot of advantages. It's not, I think the logic here is that who's a big star that they could put on pay-per-view and make money off of in MMA and still make the same kind of, and still get the same kind of opportunity? You could have said Khabib Nurmagomedov, but I don't know. I think he's looking for a better deal. And if they're doing 50-50 on pay-per-view, Danny, maybe that's the difference. Because he's not going to get 50-50 pay-per-view anywhere else.
Yeah, it's just so weird. Rising out of all promotions.
I know.
Like, Mayweather's a big star where? In the U.S., right? So now he's
a global
all over.
Superstar.
Right, as well. But like his main brand, I mean, Mayweather, you think of Las Vegas, right?
Yeah.
That's
he has a deal with MGM Properties to fight. I think if he fights in the United States, he has to be on one of their properties.
Yeah. So, I mean, this whole situation is super weird. Plus, like, the rule set is not even made. Like, I saw him he took a picture and he put on an MMA glove and a boxing glove. So I don't know if that's going to go down. But, yeah, it's just a really bizarre situation. There's still a lot of questions left to be
By the way, why is Rizin going to bankrupt themselves to pay for Floyd? That's another weird part about this that I don't quite understand.
Yeah.
But, okay, here we go.
Yeah. Hey, shouts out to Floyd's Movember beard. Did you see that? It was wild.
You know what's funny about Floyd? Why is it he shows up to pressers in tracksuits, and then when he's out with Kadyrov, he's out in nice suits? It's like, wouldn't you want to do the opposite? I don't know. All right, whatever.
Yeah. All right, now let's get to UFC 230, which just happened over the weekend, and let's talk about our guest today because he's popping right now.
Yeah, he is.
Hey, Luke. This is Mike from Deerfield Beach, Florida. My question for you is Israel Adesanya, style bender. When it comes to him having this 4-0 record in just 8 months, what do you think his ceiling is coming into 2019? Do you think he'd be able to possibly get that Anderson Silva fight early, that January, February, setting up a title fight in mid-June, July possibly? Maybe end up with a rematch and possibly even a title fight? Could 2019 be an even better year than Israel Adesanya's 2018? Big fan of the show. Appreciate everything you do. And thank you.
Well, thank you, sir. Here's what I would say to that, Danny. 2019 is going to be, I would be shocked if he doesn't contend for a title, if not outright win one. We're talking about a very, very, very special individual here. The Anderson Silva fight does nothing for me. Nothing.
Really?
Do you like that idea?
I'm a huge fan.
Okay,
I think that fight needs to go down.
You are a believer. Give me the case.
Okay. So the whole idea of this, a lot of people are going, whoa, but that's a step backwards.
It is a step backwards.
I don't think it is. I think this is the path to the title, and I think Anderson Silva is a slight detour, but I don't think it's a step backwards at all. I mean, the fight for Derek Brunson was the fight to see how legit is he. And we saw that. He's super legit. I mean, no scrub beats Derek Brunson. You have to be very legit to beat Derek Brunson. And Adesanya went in there, made it look easy. So we know he can fight. After watching that performance, I go, okay, this guy can definitely win a title. Like, this guy can definitely give a fight to Robert Whittaker, Kelvin Gastelum, whoever wins the belt. Now let's bring up his star power, right? Because we already know he can fight. And who's the biggest star? I mean, at least for the casuals at the middleweight division right now, I would say Anderson Silva. It's still a fight that, standing wise is interesting. And, it gets him another win in his record, a manageable task, because I'm not saying Anderson Silva, is a walk in the park, but it's a manageable task that will put his brand up even higher. At this point, I don't think there's any questions regarding Adesanya's skill. I don't know if you still have any. I think he's super legit.
No, my only question about his skill is, oh my God, how good is this guy about to get? That's the only question I have.
You don't think Anderson Silva provides enough of that room for him to get even better?
No.
And also building his star power?
No.
Why don't you like it?
I think Anderson Silva's star power has massively faded. As a fighter, he has massively faded. We're talking about an all-time great, if not the best ever, number 2. Yep. Understand what I'm talking about. I'm not making a claim about what he's done. I'm making a claim about who he is today. Who he is today is not an appropriate challenge, either for star power or for a test. A Luke Rockhold is a much better one. A Yoel Romero would be an interesting one, but can he make weight? I don't know. Somebody like that. I want to see somebody who is still relatively close or in their prime. I don't care about people who, I care about Anderson Silva, but not as it makes, it does nothing for me here. If he goes in there and mows him down in a round, what did you learn? Nothing. You got nothing out of that.
But I feel like I got all my questions answered with the Derek Brunson fight.
Did you? Against Yoel Romero? I'd want to see that.
Sure, but then you'd be taking a very risky fight.
Yeah, well, do you want to be a title contender or not? I mean, that's what risk is.
He's already a title contender.
I understand, but I'm saying, like, you going to beat these guys or not, man? Like, you don't get easy fights. You get the right fights to get you to where you need to be, as I mentioned. Yeah. Look at his takedown defense getting better and better and better against better opposition. But at some point, you just got to swim in the deep end, and I think he's probably ready. Let's see him do it.
I don't know. I'm all for the Anderson Silva fight. Let's agree to disagree there.
Okay.
Let's talk about another middleweight on that card who's doing quite well, but things didn't go the way he planned.
Oh, is this about Weidman?
Yes, sir.
Hey, regular Mike from Indiana, long-time listener, first-time caller. How much would Chris Weidman benefit both from a bump up to 205 and really getting some outside eyes by exploring some other camps, even if it was only for part of his camp? Thanks. Love the show.
Great question. First of all, I think the world of Matt Serra, I think the world of Ray Longo, I think those guys can train just about anybody to be their best. That being said, there's always room to grow in the martial arts world. Anybody who's involved in martial arts will tell you that. Dave, shouts to Dave Camarillo, the Guerrilla Jiu-Jitsu guy. He made a point, or Dave Camarillo, however you want to call it. He made a point years ago, and he has a motto. He has it in like the hashtag of all his Instagram posts. Train with everyone. Train with white belts, train with black belts. Train with gorditas, train with feas. You know what I'm saying? But train with tall, train with short, train with strong, train with weak. Train with guys who have good guards, guys who have good from turtle, guys who are good wrestling. Train with everybody. It just makes you better over time. And he does get some nice looks over there with Henzo's and all those kinds of guys. I'm not recommending a camp change, but what I wonder is, would it be the worst idea in the world? It's up to him. Only he knows that. But I want to be clear. Just because you're at one of the very best camps in the world doesn't mean another very good camp might not be able to shake things up. But Chuck Mindenhall on the post-fight show, Danny, I'm sure you saw it. He had the right answer. Just kind of start fresh. When you can start fresh, look at Jared Cannonier. Starts fresh at middleweight, takes a short notice opportunity, and he beats number 7 guy in the world. Bam, look at this. You're looking at Jared Cannonier in a whole new light. Highly recommended move to light heavyweight for Chris Weidman. Yeah.
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more with Chuck Mindenhall. If you guys haven't checked out the post-fight show, go over to MMA Fighting, do that after the show. But yeah, I couldn't agree anymore. I mean, for me, always changing weight classes was hitting the reset button, right? You kind of forget about everything. It's a fresh new start, and Weidman is 1-4 in his last 5 bouts. And if you look at who he's fought here, he's fought Luke Rockhold, Yoel Romero, Gegard Mousasi, Kelvin Gastelum, Jacare Souza, all killers, man. I feel like at middleweight, you're not going to get a tune-up fight. If you go up to light heavyweight, it's a lot more accessible to get, a guy that's, not a top 5 contender in that division. So I would recommend a weight class change. Plus, he's a big dude. And look, skill-wise, I think 185 is a lot more dangerous than 205 at this point in time.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Especially with guys like Israel Adesanya coming through the ranks, man. There be no shelter here.
Yeah.
Next.
Sure. All right, let's talk about Sijara Eubanks. This is not really a question. This is a statement, but, brings up that topic.
What's up, guys? I just finished watching the Sijara Eubanks fight, And I just got to say, she's so lucky that she didn't go up against Shevchenko looking like that. Maybe the weight cut would have been different, but man, that she just wouldn't have had it tonight.
What?
So that was just a statement. No question.
Why was he drinking on the microphone?
Was he drinking?
Oh, it sounded like it, like
I don't
gulping.
know. It sounds to me just like a tap, like if he was tapping on the mic.
Marrana.
Marrano.
Is it Rano? That's right. Thank you.
Yeah.
I do the gender thing. I always botch the gender.
Yeah, it's a weird thing,
Yeah.
right? So Sijara Eubanks, interesting story, had a lot of media attention going into this fight.
Yeah.
Misses weight on Friday.
Yeah, I asked her about that at the post-fight presser. Did you see the scrum?
Yes, I did.
I said to her, I said, look, great win. You look good. By the way, I thought she was tired after that second round.
Yes.
She came out firing in the third, man, so credit to her. And she even admitted, she's like, I was a bantamweight before the tough season came around to be a flyweight. She kind of admitted, like, I'm not really a flyweight. And I said to her, like, yo, great win, but what is the UFC going to do with you? You missed weight twice, She was like, yeah, I don't know. All I could control at this point was just getting the win on tonight. I can't. She acknowledged this is a real difficult position. I don't know, man. She's gonna have to do like a test cut for him or something, because I don't know how you get around that problem.
Yeah, it's a very difficult situation, and she has so much media. I feel like there's a saying in PR, there's no such thing as bad publicity. Well, I feel like in her case, it worked out in the very beginning, as far as like the whole cancellation with the fight.
The Joe
And I feel
Rogan
like,
thing.
Yeah, the Joe Rogan thing was huge, and I feel like people just knew her just from the fact that she was on the headlines constantly. And she misses weight, which she should have made 125, and she should have gone out there and destroyed Roxanne, and then just get on the mic and be like, Shevchenko, this would have been you, something like that. Cut a nice promo. But instead, she has a very tough fight, somewhat, pretty competitive. There was some parts there that, she didn't look so great, and, she missed weight. So it's a really tough position. Very interesting position where she's at right now.
Certainly is.
Yeah. You have time for more?
Yeah, we got a few more.
All right. This is not about UFC 230, but still women's MMA. Very interesting question.
All right.
What's up, Luke? This is Sawyer calling from D.C. Shout out. My question's about Amanda Nunes' legacy if she were to win this fight in December. So she's already beaten Ronda Rousey, Miesha Tate, Valentina Shevchenko twice. And if she were to beat Chris Cyborg, do you think she would be the greatest women's mixed martial artist of all time?
Ooh.
I don't feel like a lot of people are really talking about the opportunity that she has in this fight to cement her legacy.
You know what?
Thanks,
That's a great question. Shouts to
Dude,
my man.
I didn't think about that till he brought it up, man.
Oof, that is a good point.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dude, and especially because, look, let's be honest, Shevchenko's gonna. There's a good chance she's gonna become the UFC flyweight.
She's right. If you beat Shevchenko
twice,
Tate, Rousey, and Cyborg. Wow, that's a good. Yeah, you might just be. I have to think about that for a second, but yeah, you just might be, man. That's how have we not talked about this? You know what?
That's why we have sound off.
We're sitting there talking about hot balls on Derek Lewis for 8 weeks, and we're not even talking about the fact that Amanda Nunes is on the cusp of something really important here. By the way, if Cyborg wins, you could say, well, was that the right fight and in weight class and stuff? But she also would be cementing a bit of a legacy.
Just right now, she has a pretty impressive resume to claim that GOAT status.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Jesus, how have we not talked about that? That's crazy.
It's insane.
Also, Megumi Fujii had done a lot as a fighter as well, but I think Amanda Nunes, if you can get those scalps, that's going to be tough to beat, bro.
Yep.
All right, what else we got?
You got one more?
Yeah, no, we can do a couple more.
Okay.
I'm just going to run like a jackass like I always do uptown.
All right. Okay, so let's go back to the middleweight picture. Sounds good?
Yeah.
Hey, Luke, it's Joel calling in from Canada. My question today is, after UFC 230, what is kind of the lay of the land for the middleweight division? We know that Gastelum and Whitaker will be fighting early next year, but after that, who's the next contender? I really think Weidman probably would have got the shot if he had won, but since he lost, Chacare's lost convincingly to both Gastelum and the champ, Whitaker. So who's next? Is Adesanya ready to step up there? Or somebody like Rockhold Romero? We already saw them fight against Whitaker recently. So who do you think is next in line, and kind of what's the lay of the land, in your opinion, for the middleweight division? Thanks. Love the show. See ya.
Danny, why don't you field that one first? I kind of given a little bit of a hint here or there. What are you thinking for it?
Well, I would say give Adesanya the Anderson Silva fight on the same card where Robert Whittaker will be defending his middleweight title.
I do like that. I like
And
Adesanya competing on that same.
Adesanya has to be on that card, in my opinion, because he's got to get on the mic and be like, yo, whoever wins that fight, I'm next.
Yeah.
And I really like the whole, putting the same weight classes, putting a lot of the weight class contenders in the same card, because one, it, makes the timelines work. And two, it cuts for incredible promos. Plus, you get them all in media day all together. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty good. So I think definitely get Adesanya on that card, and I think Adesanya is the guy. I think he's ready. For me, the Brad Tavares performance was definitely eye-opening, but, Brad Tavares, although very skilled, he's not, a top 5 contender. Brunson, I think, very highly up. He's a guy that can strike, has power, can wrestle.
Fought tough guys.
And he's only lost to the very, very best.
Yeah.
So the fact that he was able to do what he did to Derek Brunson, to me, speaks volumes that this guy's ready for a title shot. So I'd like to see him fight.
I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Yeah. But I feel bad for Jacare too, man. I guess put in the work, but he's got losses too.
The other thing was,
two guys contending.
I know. And the other thing was that we saw Israel here today in studio, and we saw him with the post-fight presser, his face looking clean as shit.
Yep.
And then poor Jacare was nicked and dinged, man.
Fantastic fight.
What ridiculous! What a warrior he is. I've said this before. Have you ever seen the clip where Jacare gets his arm broken by Roger Gracie?
And then he just
If you've never seen it, Roger Gracie is upside down trying to break Jacare's arm. They're in the gi, so you can't just slam him out. By the way, there's no slams in IBJJF anyway. And his arm breaks, and Jacare doesn't scream. He lets the arm break. And I'm going to stand here for a second. Here's what he does. So the bell expires, arm breaks, bell expires, and he stands like this. He stands like one arm like this, dangling. He's like, yeah.
Oh, no, wait. You missed the part. He broke his arm, and he has about 45 seconds to a minute left on the mat.
Yeah.
And he gets back on the feet on neutral position, and he's just head posting with his
I forgot about that. Yeah,
the broken arm away, and he's defending takedowns. And the worst part is that you can see his face; he's just
grimacing.
You can tell he's in a lot of pain, man.
Yeah.
And to win a jiu-jitsu tournament, what do you win,
bro? To win $50 and a high five.
Exactly.
You
get 10 dudes on the bleachers cheering for you.
Dude, Jacare is 38 and out here beating up the best of the world.
Incredible.
He's a ridiculous athlete.
It'd be kind of sad to see him never get a UFC title shot, right?
It would.
Because he's one of the greats at
middleweight. It would.
He really is.
All right, very quickly, I have time for one more, then I have to go.
All right, let's do it.
Hit me with the digits.
All right, let's talk about some reffing and controversial decisions.
Hey, what's going on, Luke and Danny? Love the show. You guys have been killing it. Obviously, the Weidman stoppage this weekend was awful. My initial reaction was to blame Miragliotta, but I think that's not the real problem because we've done this before, the Yamasaki, Herb Dean, even Big John, probably every ref. I think the problem is not with the individual refs. It's just that there's only one ref. There needs to be a second trained official outside the cage watching via a monitor. And they would just simply press a button if they determine the fight should be stopped. The ref in the cage would have a buzzer, something that would vibrate on their hip, letting them know. Because if you think about it, most sports have multiple officials, and most sports are far less dangerous. As far as I can tell, there's not really a downside to adding an extra set of eyes to the fight, especially when there's already multiple officials.
Okay, I get the point. There's an answer for this.
Yep.
The answer is who's going to pay for that? And what states can do that? California can do that, having extra refs. You could say, well, what about the other refs who are not working? But they need a break. They need to collect themselves. They may have other issues. They may be checking people ringside. There's lots of things. You have to have the amount of refs. You have to have the amount of money. You have to have a lot of things going on. You have to change how the sport would be structured and observed and officiated. Not saying it's a bad idea to have more eyes. It's fine. But this is the problem I mentioned when Adesanya was in studio. You hand over the keys to the car to the government, and now everything is bogged down in government bureaucracy and lack of efficiency and a lack of resources.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea, just not a realistic one.
Yeah. Hey, shouts out to Jacare for not dishing out any more punishment to Chris Weidman.
100%.
That's a true gentleman right there of the sport. But yeah, that stoppage was bad, and it kind of makes me think because, we see the fights on camera from our home, with all the angles, nice, clear view. The refs don't get that, So I think it would be a great idea, as this caller brought up, to have a second ref chilling outside, watching, on a monitor what we're seeing, and then, talking to the ref inside. We see this in soccer all the time, refs standing on the side telling the main official if there was an offside or et cetera. I think it'd be a lot better to have more eyes on this sport, especially since it's a very dangerous one.
I can't argue with that. The only thing I'd say is, because I got to get out of here, the only thing I would say is People are like, oh my God, how can these guys keep reffing? They make such mistakes. You're looking at the best. That's what the best refereeing looks like. Tom Brady throws interceptions. Aaron Rodgers throws pick sixes. Doesn't happen very often, but they do. Maybe these guys are Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, but something like that. Okay, it's more like Kirk Cousins. But the point still remains. That's one of the best quarterbacks in the world. That's what that looks like when they do their job. They're going to make that many errors. It doesn't mean you don't comment on the error, but show me somebody who does it better. There's not many.